Cornerstone Resources has been a huge driving factor in the refinement of my study skills. Before seeking help, I didn't really use any sort of calendar or schedule, and my studying was pretty sporadic and unguided. After reaching out, I now have a stronger idea about how to budget my time. Learning this skill played into my time management abilities. I began properly budgeting my time for school and fun, and found a structure that works for me. I also learned to utilize spaced learning when preparing for exams. By spreading my studying out over weeks rather than cramming last minute, I slowly started to hone my self-discipline.
Many college students are studying for the first time when they start their college classes. So if you feel alone, don't. Make sure you've watched the time management video and spaced practice video so you know how to maximize your study time. Because even if you know how to study, if you're not managing your time effectively, it will have negative impacts on your learning. The way you study can depend on the subject, your interests, and the type of concept being learned. This video will cover a few study skills that can be applied to several types of concepts. But first, it's important to identify what you don't know so you know what you need to study. Tip number 1, use practice tests as initial self-assessments. Don't cram before taking the practice test. Instead, take the practice test with your current knowledge to identify areas of improvement and where you need to focus your studying. If you cram right before you take a practice test, you are only practicing how to take the test, instead of identifying what you need to study. If you don't have a practice test, make your own by creating questions from the readings, concepts talked about in class, questions in the back of the book, or working with classmates. Sometimes professors will make old exams available, which make great practice tests as well. Tip number 2, read with an active mind. What does that mean? Before reading, tell yourself you will be responsible for teaching the information you're about to learn to someone else. As you read, ask yourself if you understand what you've just read. Some people reflect sentence to sentence, while others reflect after each paragraph. Make sure you really ask yourself, would you be able to explain the information you've just read to someone else? If you go back and reread, make sure you are intentional about how you are rereading. The manner in which you reread material is related to how information is processed. If you read a sentence and don't understand what you've just read, don't just go back and reread the words. Rereading without a purpose is only increasing your fluency. Because you've already seen the words, your brain reads the words more easily. This tricks your brain into thinking you understand what you've just read because the act of reading the words was easier. This is a common phenomenon that happens when students reread. They gain a false sense of security in the information they are learning because the act of reading the information has gotten easier. But no real learning has happened. Tip number 3. As was mentioned in the spaced practice video, studying a little every day and alternating the subjects you study is very beneficial in creating long-term memory. Avoid studying one subject for hours on end. Cramming is not an effective way to learn. It might seem like a good study technique because at times, cramming can allow for a student to get a decent grade on a first exam, but that information is likely not in your long-term memory, which means you will have to relearn it. If the information you crammed is the foundation for future lessons, this can lead to more serious issues in learning. Tip number 4, identify the concept behind each problem. When attempting a problem, first try to identify what concept your professor is testing you on. Getting the right answer is important, but it's also critical that you know what concepts you need to use and apply. Whether you're struggling with concepts or not, it may benefit you to meet with a teaching assistant, academic mentor, or your professor during office hours. Check out the next video to identify helpful resources to improve your learning.